This movie is rated G for general viewing.
Hello, I'm Larry King and welcome to another week of Discovering History. Today we are going to have a guest in about medieval history. Our guest will be talking about the peasants in medieval history. She will talk about how peasants were treated and what they did. But before, I will show you a sneak preview of the new show coming to XYZ, called All About Teenagers.
We'll be talking about the effects of smoking once inside a cigarette and about what makes up a cigarette when it sneaks up on you and we will cheers.
One day, one of my friends offered me a cigarette. And since all my friends had started smoking and told me
Good night. See you all next week on Team Network.
Here comes our guest right now.
Hey Larry, nice to see you.
Take a seat, Kate.
Thanks, Larry.
So Kate, give us an overview of peasants in medieval times.
Peasants did not belong to themselves. Their belongings were owned by the lord of the manor. Their lives were basically continuous work. A lot of peasants struggled to even create enough food for their own family. The class of medieval peasants included of the free men, the cotters, and the villeins. None of these three types owned land. The free men were basically renting the feudal master's land. The cotters worked for the lord. In return, he gave the cotter a place to live and harvest. Villeins had the hardest life. The land they lived on belonged to the feudal lord and they had to pay the taxes. Harvesting was very hard because he had to work both on his land and the lord's land. He had to give his best harvest to his lord. He was also required besides harvesting to provide other services like cutting trees, digging ditches, or building and maintaining the palisades. The children of villeins could attend church school. They learnt prayers, songs, and learnt basic maths and Latin. The lord had to protect his villeins. Some peasants became wealthier than others.
Very interesting.
Peasants were also at the bottom of the feudal system.
So they were the lowest class of people?
Correct?
Did peasants have any days off working?
Good question, Larry. Luckily, they had free days on Sundays and holy days. This is when they went to church.
That is very lucky. You would think they would not have any days off. Did peasants die young?
Yes, they did. Because of their poor diet, they died before they reached the young age of 27. Peasants built most of their tools. Skilled craftsmen produced their pottery, leatherwork, and iron.
What did peasants do during the day?
The peasants' professions were a farmer or craftsman. A farmer spent the day planting, harvesting, and fertilizing the plants of the farm. A craftsman's life normally consisted of making goods for the public, mending castle-needed repairs, or training the younger generation with their craft.
Did peasants make their own clothes?
They certainly did. The women peasants spent their time at home making clothes for themselves and family. Peasant women spent their time spinning wool into coarse thread, which was then woven into cloth and made into garments. They also would have done any housework.
What happened during the Black Death Plague?
Great question. I was waiting for you to ask that.
I thought it would be a nice way to finish the show.
The Black Death Plague killed so many peasants that the lords were having trouble just to find workers to tend their land. This plague was very dangerous.
Unfortunately, that is all we have time for. Kate, thank you for being a part of my show.
It was my pleasure, Larry.
To listen to more about the Black Death Plague, visit our website, www.discoveringhistory.com. Thanks, folks. Good night.